The previous videos had a bit of a problem, and that problem was putting something, well, globally is not really necessarily the best design practice. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually register a C++ class. So first things first, let's go in here. Let's actually create our new C++ class. And I'm going to just call this test, our handy test class here. It's going to inherit a Q object. Once the IDE catches up with what we're doing, there we go. I am going to just add some includes here. So we're going to say qdebug, qvariant, and we're going to do qRandomGenerator. So this is going to be a very, very simple class. I'm just going to say void status qvariant, and we're going to say data. Remember, because we're passing back and forth to QML, qvariant is pretty much the standard way to go. I'm going to grab this. And let's say void work. Again, going to be super, super simple. Right click. We're going to add our definition in there. Let's go ahead and go right here, and we're going to basically just generate some sort of random number. So I'm going to say bool, okay. And I'm going to say toInt, and we're going to actually double check to make sure that actually cast the way it was supposed to. I'm doing some basic checking here. And if it couldn't cast, we're going to say not a valid number. Otherwise, we want to do something a little bit super special here. So I'm going to say int, and I'm just writing some pseudocode. Does not really matter. We just want to generate something. Say rand equal q random number generator global. You could definitely use this to impress your friends with just how unproductive it is, but I'm going to create a bounded number up to 100. Num out is going to be our num in times that random number. So we're basically just generating a random number, multiplying it by whatever we said we wanted to do. So if we said, hey, 3, and this generates a 10, it's going to return out a 30. And then I'm just going to do some qinfo just so we can see what's going on under the hood. Copy and paste is our best friend in the whole wide world. In case you're wondering, yes, in later sections we are going to actually do some productive C++ that actually does actual work. Got to use the word actual as many times as possible. Because this is not it. This is not going to do anything other than just generate some kind of crazy number. All right, status. There we go. And we're going to say qvariant because we're passing back to QML and we want our num out. So kind of following the logic here, QML is going to call this slot work with some sort of number. We're going to generate a random number and then multiply it by whatever they said they wanted. And then we're just going to emit a signal. So what's so special about this? Absolutely nothing. I just wanted a class that we could work with here. So now the special part is really here. And I'm going to go in put some comments, and we're going to go ahead and include. And I want the qml context. And we're going to go ahead and include our test class. This is where what we're doing is going to deviate from previous videos. And I'm going to give us a good build just to make sure we didn't goof anything up. Save run just to make sure everything works. Rest assured we should have no bugs. Right here, this is what we need to do. We're going to register a QML type. Or I should say a type in QML. We do that by using some very ugly verbiage here. So it's going to be QML register type, and this gets kind of ugly. I'm going to say test, so we're giving it the template of the test class, and then we've got some things we need to do here. So we need to give it some sort of URI. In this case, it's going to be com.company.test. That's basically the namespace that we're shoving it into, but it's not really a namespace. You got to be kind of careful when you say that around people. Then we're going to give it a major version, a minor version, and we need some sort of name that it can be used by. All right, let's give this a good build, make sure everything links. Once we get to this point, this class can be created in QML. Now this is different than previous videos where we've actually created an instance of the class and then shoved it into the root context. What we're doing now is we're saying this type test, this actual class, can be created inside QML. And let's go ahead and demonstrate that. First things first, we need to go up to import land. I'm going to say import our class / type. So really what we're doing is we're importing a type, not specifically a class. And this is what I mean. So we're going to say import, and here we're going to actually put in the URI. So we're going to say com.company.test. And then, of course, we need versioning. Now in Qt 6, versioning is supposed to go away, but we're not in Qt 6, so we have to put our major and minor version. That is exactly how this happens in the background. Somewhere, someone has put something like this, but it has a different URI and a different version and a different name. So once again, to recap, QML register type is going to take our C++ class type, and it's going to make it available using that and this name and this version. So as long as you get those, like I said, it gets a little confusing. You have to import using the URI and the version. Now comes the fun bit. What we can do is we can go in here and we can say, I want to actually create an instance of that now. Now, if we follow IntelliSense, notice how suddenly it sees it. And we can do something like this. We can even give it an ID. This is extremely cool. All right, so let's play around with this and let's see what's going on here. We've got our test class. We have a signal called status, so we know that we can do an on status. So let's play with that. And it actually sees it. So when you type on, it's going to look for all of your signals that are available. Notice how we have an on destroyed, on object name change. Those are injected in there for us automatically, and on status. Beautiful. So we can actually play around with this now. And I'm going to say LBL status, which is this label down here. We're going to change that text. In case you're wondering where I'm getting data from, you guessed it, it is the signature of the status. Let's go ahead and look at that real quick. Right here, there's our signature, data, qvariant data. So it's going to take that name, shove it right in there, and make it available for us. That is extremely cool. Let's go down to our button, and let's make this work. So I'm going to say var num math. I'm just going to make a purely random number. Random, and we're going to say, or actually round. And I'm going to multiply that by 100. And then we're just going to say test.work. Now this is different than previous videos, because what we're doing here is we are actually creating this inside of QML. So it's not available up here. It's actually available in the context of our window. It's not up in the root context. So we could actually create different versions of this in different QML files. This is extremely cool. We can even give it an ID. We can hook into the events, and we can call the slots directly. Let's go ahead and test this. Save and run. Very, very cool. Once you get it down, it's very easy. Some takeaways from this. First and foremost, signals and slots were not working with public and private functions. And you guessed it, go in here. You have to follow this QML register type, give it the class type, give it a URI, major, minor version, and a name in QML that you can actually create. That's the actual QML type name.